Once again, I am saying that once again the same definition: overriding with child class method with the parent class method, which is having, this is the condition, which is having same name, same number of parameters, same number of same data type, then this is called method overriding. And already we have been discussed about method overloading. So these are the two concepts which it will comes under the polymorphism. Got it? So any questions under this one? Means have you understood? Because you should understand what is method overloading and overriding. Then only you can understand runtime polymorphism, compile time polymorphism, and then all the topics. Guys, you mark this word when you guys went to Selenium. If you write, the basic job of a tester, you will need be writing the test cases, right? If you write 1,000 test cases, the 1,000 test cases will start with this particular line: WebDriver equal to new Firefox, or okay, new Chrome driver. I'm just giving an example. No need to understand this one. It will. I'm just giving an example. Now, if you see this, actually, the first thing is this is an interface, and we are creating an object for an interface. You should know what is an object creation. So you will be understanding this is a new keyword and this is a constructor, this is an interface, giving the space for the constructor. This is called upcasting. And once we have been done, so this can be changed dynamically. So it can be changed Chrome driver, Firefox driver. So this is called runtime polymorphism, where we are getting this all. So if you don't understand now, you will not understand in the Selenium concepts there. That is the reason I was clearly saying that understand these topics, then you can play it's very easily in the Selenium. If it means that every line will have the basic information there, in there. See guys, you might be thinking that why this guy is spending lots and lots of time on this polymorphism or inheritance. These all things are done. I think you watch one movie called Karate Kid. In that Karate Kid movie, that means there is a scene. So that Jackie Chan will come and then ask that guy to hang his
Do
coat
this
with a
exactly
smiling face. He will not understand, but he will ask him to do the same exercise for 1,000 times. He will
1,000
means
times.
every time he will frustrated and doing it. At one point of time, he will ask what I learned from this. Then in the last minute, he will try to fight with him, and then he will try to defend himself by, because the same way the action he was trying to put the quote on that. The same things, you don't know what you are learning now. And when it comes to the Selenium, I challenge you people. I bet that you can learn Selenium in a day. One day. See, now I know that everyone joined for the Selenium, but till now, I mean, even after 3.5 weeks for team one, I didn't even talk a single topic about Selenium. You might be getting frustrated why this guy is irritating us like this. I am asking for Selenium, but he was still saying me the manual testing concepts or Java concepts or these things. But if I means for telling me for a Selenium session, it will not take me for one day, but you will not understand anything. But if you do now, if you open a Selenium program now, you understand each and every concept. Now at that point of time, what I'll explain is, boss, this is our driver object, this is what our new keyword which allocates the memory, this is what my constructor, so constructor will allocate the memory. And what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to do the upcasting for this particular interface, and I'm creating the space for this particular interface. Now whatever the methods in the WebDriver, I need to implement it, I can reuse that one. So that's how I'll explain it, and it will, you can remember forever. And we are doing the interviews, and many people, they don't even know what is this line, but they have 6-7 years of experience, and even 8-9 years of experience also, they didn't even give an answer. If you understand this particular lane, you can understand the complete concepts of inheritance, polymorphism, and then oops concepts. That is the reason we are spending this much of time over these particular topics. You need to understand this. Until unless you learn this, you can't learn any other things. Okay, coming back to the discussion. So now we have been discussed two topics. One is method overloading and overriding. Guys, any questions around this one?
Clear, Krish.
So go back and try out this one, and even see now I'll do one more thing. Now I create another class. Okay. Now you give me the answer for this one all. So poly underscore 3 demo. Okay. Now, okay, I didn't copy the main method. Guys, there is a definition for this one also. Now, I'll talk about this one later, but still I'm just saying that why main method should be static, why main method would be having void, why main method should have these parameters. Everything there is a reason for that. So that is also one of the important interview question. I'll let you know that later part. Okay, I don't want to deviate now. Now, what I'll try to do, I try to extend this. What is this inheritance called as?
Multi-level inheritance.
Excellent, excellent. Multi-level inheritance. Now what I have did, so if you see, it is very simple, guys. Now this is my grandfather, class number 1. Next, this is my father, class number 2. And this is me, class number 3. So now this is class 1. It is extended here. And now this class is extended here. So I got all these methods and into this, and even I have all the methods and variables from this to me. So now what I'll try to do here, I'll call mul here. If I call multiplication, which method will come to me here if I execute here? So now
Class 2.
Poly2 demo will come there.
mul, I'll give it 20, 30. Why is the class name is wrong? Huh? Oh, sorry. I given the method name with a capital letter. I'm sorry for that. We need to change it. Okay. Okay. So now I'm trying to execute this one, right? I'll try to, can I mean, in the same way, I'll try to do the debugging. You can easily understand. To do the debugging, double click on the line. It will keep my debugging pointer here. Now, if I wanted to do debugging, I'll just click this debugger pointer. It's changed my view. Okay, so now I'll start this one. So I don't know why it stopped here, but yeah, the pointer came here. So in the black color it was not coming. So here you have the green color execution. I wanted to get inside the method. So what I need to click?
F5.
If it's go, I need to do the step over. Then what I need to click?
F6.
Okay, now here I need to go inside.
F6.
Yes, step over is F6, step into is F5. Now I wanted to go inside this method. I clicked. See, it came to class number 2. So because this is the overridden method. So it came here, and then I'm clicking F6 and I'm clicking F6. It printed me the value. See, it was coming from the class 2. So this is how the overriding concept will work. Guys, is that clear? Any questions in this method overriding?
One doubt. For class 3, the superclass will be always the class 2 only, right?
Class 3?
For class 3, that for class 3, that superclass will be class 2 only. Class 2 or class.
No. So what is your immediate parent? Is the superclass.
Okay.
See now this is see now this is your parent. See now my grandfather, father, me. If you ask me who is your father, I will not say my grandfather name. I will say my father name. Similar. So now if you ask me what is a superclass for this, for this one, who is a superclass? This.
Okay. But in the class 3, from the class 3, we can call the class 1 also, right? Class 1 method also, right?
That is what I'm saying. See, my grandfather have one property. that belongs to me also now. See now, whatever the things in class 2 and whatever the things are in the class 1, everything is belongs to me now. See, whatever my grandfather property, whatever my father property, and everything I can access here. So that's how we have done, right?
Okay, when we're calling from the methods from the class 1, then the class 1 super
see
class
now,
or class 2 will be super class.
I'll show one thing. So I'll just make this one as a static. This is the class 1. Okay. I'm just trying to call this class 1 method. Okay. Class 1 method here.
Add.
Okay. See now class 1 method. See, it didn't ask me anything. So
Because we are changing to the static, right?
If it is static means I need to see now if I don't have this for example, now I have removed this one extension. See now it was throwing me error. This is static only, right? But still why it was getting this one? Because I don't have the relation between that. If see now I have my grandfather property is there. Can you come and claim that property? I'll say, boss, no, it's not chance, because this is my grandfather property. I can't come and claim your grandfather property. Same way, if I have the relation, then I can have that, it can be accessed. It's simple. There is a property. Can I, mean, someone external can go and access? No. But if it's my grandfather property, no one can stop me. I can break the wall and then I can go inside it. Exactly. So that's how it was accessing it. Got it?
Chris, you are asking if we extend demo 3 to poly 2 demo, and demo 3 will have same characteristic which will have poly 2.
Not same characteristics, not same characteristics. Whatever the methods available here and whatever the variables and everything available in this particular class, that can be accessible by this. This have the complete control. See, now your father have a car. Now you no need to ask anyone, and then directly you can take the keys and then you can use the car.
Yes.
But if you are taking your neighbor's car, then you need to go ask him, can I use your car? Then you take him the permission and then you can use it. That's where you create an object and you'll take the reference of the class name and then you'll be using it. But here it's your own father car. So there is no need to ask anyone. Directly you can take it on it and then you can go away. So that is where access means how we are accessing the variables. If you are having the extension, means as it is inherited, it was declaring that my property belongs to this guy, so that this guy can use his property like that. Okay,
I got it.
Guys, any other questions?
No, Chris. I think I tried the same example, whatever I asked. It worked fantastic. Yeah.
Excellent. So, so any other questions, Chandrika? Are we clear?
No, yes, Chaitanya, I'm clear.
Arshan, I'm not able to hear you.
Yeah, all good, Chris.
Are we clear?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, yes.
Okay, I know Sonam, Ram, Pina, you might be bored with the same sessions because you already know these things, but still it might be a repetition for you people. Okay. I will not get into the runtime polymorphism and compile time polymorphism now. Might be, I'll give you one small hint. Runtime polymorphism is, it will happen dynamically, and the concept used in runtime polymorphism is overriding. Means when I'm talking about the interfaces in the Selenium concept, so there we can know what is a runtime polymorphism. But runtime polymorphism, compile time polymorphism, if someone asked, runtime polymorphism is overriding. You know what is overriding now? If you're doing the overriding, then it is runtime polymorphism. Compile time polymorphism, method overloading. So how we, you wanted to see the real-time example, that is a real-time example which I given, WebDriver driver equal to new Firefox driver. To understand that one, we should have much more information on the interfaces and the creation of the classes. I'll not talk about that one now because it might confuse for the team too. Runtime polymorphism, compile time polymorphism, I'll take it in a separate session. But you need to remember one simple pointer. If someone asks you what is a runtime polymorphism, runtime polymorphism is more or, I mean, it was a example for the runtime polymorphism is method overriding, and compile time polymorphism is method overloading. And I'll explain about that one in detail when we talking about the interfaces part. And team 2, for you people, when you go through the complete the interfaces topic, then you can understand that those concepts. You have some way, means by next week you can get all these informations. Okay, so that's where guys. So I just wanted to give a pause on this particular topic. So to give a quick recaps, we have discussed what is polymorphism, and then we have discussed method overloading on this one. Overloading
Riding.
and method overriding. We have been discussed these topics in the polymorphism. Now we wanted to go for exceptions. Is it okay, guys?
Yeah.
Any other
Yeah.
doubts or anything you want, things you wanted to
Yes.
ask here?
Yes, go on, continue.
Okay. Now, what is an exception? What is an exception?
Any hurdles or any objections?
Exception is that you're going to consider it fine. Like for example, you try to skip. For example, like everything is failing, you can try to say you can skip this. Okay, accept this, and try to proceed.
No. You are saying that handling of exception. You accept this
Okay.
and then you proceed further. That's your handling. But what do you mean by exception?
Which disturb the normal flow of execution.
Excellent. See, boss, it's very simple. You wanted to go for your hometown. Suddenly, checkpost people caught you and said that, boss, there is no e-pass. I'll not send it to you. Means they are abrupting you. Means they are interrupting your flow. Means you wanted to go continue your journey, but someone is stopped and then they are trying to trouble you, and you are not able to move further. So this is called an exception. So now I written 10 lines of program, line number 1, line number 2, line number 3, line number 4, line number 5, line number 6. There is an interruption came. So you stop here, you didn't reach here. This is called exception. Now you got an exception. Will you stop the program here? You plan to go for your friend's marriage, or something really emergency. You need to reach to your hometown. When you are trying to go, police stopped you. Boss, you can't go. You try to let him know, boss, this is an emergency, I need to go, and he didn't listen. You tried him to give bribe, even he didn't listen. But will you stop? What we will do, so we will go ahead, take a workaround. You will say that, okay, I'll go back. You just go back and then take your car and then you rush away and then you'll continue your journey and reach your destination. This is what I do. So you will have some other alternate ways. You will take another route and you can go, whatever the alternate. But what is our agenda? You wanted to complete your journey. So this is called exception handling. So you will get exceptions, and exceptions can be handled. Okay, and you do have another thing which is called errors. Errors can't be handled. That's it. It will break down. Something it will happen. So that you can't even handle that errors. But in exceptions, you can handle the exceptions. So that is a basic difference of these two. Okay, what is an exception? And exception means exception and exception handling we discussed, and error. First, I will say the most important discussion, keep this one in your mind. Usually the people ask you this question in interviews: throwable, throws, throwable. Okay, throws. These are the three topics. Now, don't worry. Just remember this question. Means in our journey itself, you can understand whatever the things are there. Now, there is a great grandfather. His name is Throbal. Throbal is a super class. This is not an interface. Many people will get confused. This is a class. For this guy, he have two sons. Son number one is exceptions. Son number two is called errors. According to the Oracle documentation, why Oracle? We need to discuss about Oracle here. Why Oracle will give the documentation? Boss, Java was now under the Oracle. That's the reason when you are installing Java, you will get the Oracle logo. Now you need to register.
Chris, your voice is breaking and suddenly it stops and again it continues something else. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Last 5 minutes, 2 minutes, we lost your voice.
You need to tell me that. I am going in a flow now. I don't know where you guys has been stopped.
I mean,
Okay, the two sons.
in
The
the
two sons.
throwable,
We
in the
got.
throwable two sons.
Yeah.
Okay. Throwable have two sons. One is exception and errors. Now, according to the documentation of Oracle, I told that according to the documentation of Oracle, but why the Oracle will give the documentation? That is what the question I asked.
As Oracle acquired Sun Microsystems.
Yes.
Developed.
And that's the reason Java was under the Oracle. So now what the documentation, if you are following something related to Java, that would be the official site from the Oracle, you should follow it. Java documentation. Okay, anyways, I'll show it, don't get worried. So in our session itself, I'll talk about the documentation part where we can go and see that. Now, in my family tree, as I told you, right? So this is a super grandfather, and grandfather have two sons, and for this guy have another two sons, which is called checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. Yes, there are many definitions in the Google, but to have a very simpler and easier understanding, I'm saying you can follow this. Checked exceptions means now, for an example, you are going for a swimming pool. So now what you'll do? Okay, you'll keep all your swimwear and all these things you'll be keeping. Okay, I need to wear my cap. I need to wear my goggles. I need to have the wet cloths, and so you'll be making everything checked. And if you missed something, oh, I'll miss this. So this is what I missed it. So always the checked exceptions are compile time exceptions. Before doing the execution, if you checked something and get that exceptions, then this is called compile time exceptions. And during your execution, when you are running your execution, and if you're getting that one, then this is called unchecked exceptions or runtime exceptions, because we didn't check this. On runtime only, I'll get this particular exceptions. What are the runtime exceptions? Is we do have arithmetic exception. Arithmetic exception is nothing but number divisible by 0. Any number you take it. For an example, 50 divided by 100 or 150 divided by 100. What is the answer for this one? Pramod?
1.2.
Actually, he's a max trainer for us. That's the reason I was asking him. So anything divisible by 0 is 0. Okay, so these are things called, when we executed this program, then only you will get the output. right? So these are called runtime exceptions. So this is compile time exception. When okay.
So does this mean that we are getting some exceptions or errors in the compiler, right? In Eclipse. Are those exceptions? You get a red underscore if you mouse over.
That
you get
falls
that
here. That's
that
false
falls.
here. Those are compile time exceptions. When you do your compilation, it throw me the exception. When you are running at that time, if you are getting the exception, then you are calling it as runtime exception. Okay. Are we?
Runtime means when we run that particular program, or or a particular application which we have developed in by coding.
Excellent. So those things means when you started the execution, on your execution, if you get some exceptions, then that is called runtime exceptions. Before running itself, when you compile your program, when you got that exception, then that exception is called as compile time exception. What is a compiler? Arshan, what is a compiler?
Where we written our code.
Compiler.
Compiler is something that you're going to compile your code line by line and produce the the result.
Yes, I got it.
What is a compiler, Ram?
When a code converts to the computer code.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it will convert to machine language. Yeah.
Then what is JVM? What happened, guys? You guys are completely forgetting once again the basics. I can't jump back to the basics again.
Can I tell?
Yeah, Ram.
A compiler is a special program. It will convert to machine language. Program language turns to machine language. That means bytecode.
Bytecode is not machine level language. Bytecode means it will convert. The machine level language means JVM will convert. Bytecode will be taken care as an input for the JVM, and the JVM will take that and then convert it into the low level language or machine level language. So this is what we have been learned, right? So how you guys are getting forgot about this one?
Yes, a .java file to .class file it will be converting.
Yes. Why you guys are getting confused? Compiler will converts .java file into .class file, which is called bytecode. And once we got this .class file, we'll pass to the JVM, and JVM will convert into the machine level language, which is a native code language. Do you remember this image?
Yes.
Then why you guys are forgetting about this? And compiler will check line by line?
No.
Then compiler will check? What compiler will do?
Like it will convert a set of file, the complete set.
Yes. Complete code would be compiled. If you are checking line by line, then it is called as?
Interpreter.
Interpreter language. What is interpreter language? Python is the interpreter language. So in Python, you'll check line by line. But whereas in Java, it compiles the complete code. And if there is any errors or anything, it will throw. So those are called as compile time exceptions. What happened, guys?
Did we completed the interpreter
Why we need to complete the interpreters? Interpreters
concept?
is not even get into the Java, right? It's in a Python. If I'm talking about Python, then I'll talk about the interpreters. In Java, we need to talk about only compiler, because compiler is doing this job. Now, whatever the things here the compiler is doing for Java, Interpreter will do the same thing for Python there.
Okay, okay, okay.
So interpreter is not required for us, right? See, now interpreter and compiler is competitors. So now somewhere means compiler is used in Java, interpreter is used in Python. But job of them is both same, so converting into the bytecodes. It will do it in a different way, and this means compiler will do it in a different way. That's it, right?
Yes.
Guys, you shouldn't forget. See, this is your basic things: JVM, JRE, JDK, what compiler does. These things you shouldn't forget about it at any point of time. See, in an interview, if you're not able to answer this question, I'll not even ask you any other questions, because that kills my interest. Because if you're not able to tell me what is a compiler, then what is the point of asking me OOPS concept, inheritance, polymorphism? Then even if you're telling me all these things, it's like I don't know ABC, but I can write a novel. Will I believe that? No one will try to encourage, because the basic questions we should be strong. That's the reason we started from the basics. Go back to your basics, understand your basics. Unless you know this one, even you know the advanced topics also, it really doesn't matter for me, or for anyone for the matter of sake. So please be confident in this is what I'm asking you. You learn and then try to learn someone else because it will help you to remember the same thing again and again and again. If you're forgetting the basics, then guys, really you can't do anything. Keep that one in mind. See, now you learned interfaces, and then if you're not able to tell that interfaces, then if you go for Selenium also, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, I'm coming back to the session because I don't wanted to get into that. Now, I'll just, we are in the part of the exceptions. See, just to give a quick background on this one. So exception means normal dictionary meaning is an abnormal condition. And the most important thing is it disrupts the normal flow of the program. So this is what and definition of an exception. Okay. And if you see here, this is what the hierarchy of exceptions which we are talking. And in the exceptions, there are only classes. There are no interfaces involved in the exceptions. Throwable is a super class. And for throwable, it have two sons, which is exception and the error. And in the exceptions, we do have IO exceptions, SQL exceptions, class not found exceptions. These are all known as compile time exceptions or checked exceptions. And if you see here, these are runtime exceptions. Actually, it should be having two wings. That's the reason I don't wanted to show this diagram. I wanted to draw there, but I just wanted to show here. Now, if you see here, this is the runtime exception, right? Runtime exception will have arithmetic exceptions, null pointer, and all these are different classes. Arithmetic exception is a class, null pointer exception is a class, number format exception is a class, array index bound is a class. See now, arithmetic exceptions. We have used arithmetic operators. Means arithmetic operators. What are the arithmetic operators, Arjun?
And or.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. This one. I don't remember. Sorry.
Okay. So Chandrika, what are the arithmetic operations?
Which we use to perform any like addition, subtraction, multiplication.
Yeah, excellent. So addition, subtraction, multiplication. If you have any issues in that particular arithmetic operations, then these arithmetic exception will come. Simple, right? If there is any issue in addition, any issue in multiplication, any issue. See, if I multiplied with a 0, it's an arithmetic exception. Divisible by 0, arithmetic exception. So if there is any issue happen in the arithmetic operators, then this exception will arise. And we didn't assign any particular variable, means we didn't have assigned any particular value for a variable and then try to add that variable. See now I didn't assign a value for a comma b, means I didn't assign a value, but I'm summing it up for a plus b. Now the value itself it's not there, then how it can do the addition? So then it was saying that for this value it is a null. So this is called null pointer exception.
Chris, you mean to say that we have assign a variable, but we didn't give any
initialization we didn't do for that, but we are trying to add that one, or you're trying to use somewhere else. So for a variable you should do two things. One is declaration. So declaration is nothing but you are saying that whether what is the data type of that one, is it a int or is it a string or is it a float or is it a double. So you have different types of data types, and then you are declaring that declaring that particular variable. So like a int row. So this is what declaration means. Int val you will be declaring. So this is what declaration. And initializing of this one. So now initializing means value equal to 0. This is called initialization. You should know the difference between declaration and initialization. So declaration is giving that with the data type I'm declaring this variable, and initialization I'm giving a value for that one. This is called initialization. If you are not defined a value in the initialization and trying to use this particular value somewhere else, then you'll get the null pointer exception. And if you see here, index bound of exceptions, these are, you remember, right? In an array, I have 3 elements, okay? 1, 2, 3, but I'll give it as array of 3. It will throw me the error. Why? If I given, means I have 1, 2, 3. Now, if I call this one, what value it will be printing for me? Will be printing me a value, or it will print me a exception? Why?
Exception.
Exception.
Will print exception, which because we didn't declare that.
No, in array like 0, 1, 2, but there is a 2, index is 2, but you are giving here index as 3.
That's it. So now index will start from 0, 1, and 2. And here we are trying to access with 3. Then it will throw me the array index bound of range. So like this, you should understand. Say, and this is for the number format. If you are having the date format and these things wrong, so anything the number related issues are coming, then it will fall this exception. And string issues we are getting, then it will fall under this exception. So now all these exceptions will be under this one. So there are many other exceptions are also there, but for the representation, so they have been represented this. So all these things, see now, arithmetic exception or array index of exception, this will come in the runtime only, right? So this is what the runtime exceptions which you'll be getting it. I'm not talking about errors now till now, and I didn't came to this one. I'll just come. First, you need to understand the runtime exceptions. Means during your execution of the program, if you encountered any issues related to the arithmetic, then it will get the arithmetic exceptions. Related to the pointers, if you get it, then it is called null pointer exceptions. If you're related to the number format, then it will call as a number format exception. And related to the arrays, it will form the array index bound of exceptions. So these are the different types of exceptions you'll be getting from the runtime. Got it? Now, let's go to the next session. If you see here, we have 3 types of exceptions we discussed: checked exceptions, unchecked exceptions, and errors. So unchecked exceptions are called as what I told you. Unchecked exceptions are runtime exceptions. Checked exceptions are
compiler time.
Perfect. See now, if you see the definition, this means you don't read all these things, you will be getting confused. Just simple. Checked exceptions are compile time exceptions. Unchecked exceptions are at runtime exceptions. Simple. And I already told you that errors are irrecoverable, and these are out of memory error, virtual machine error, accession errors. This you can't handle them at all. You need to stop that one. What is this accession errors? I'll give you an example. If it is happened, then you need to stop the program. That's it. I can't do anything. Now, I have a scenario. What is the scenario is? I wanted to navigate to Amazon homepage. Simple. I don't want to do complicated. I'll make this very simple. So what I'll try to do, I open a browser. I'll navigate to amazon.com and check whether I reached the page or not. Usually how we will do it in the Selenium or any other page. So just we will go to the page and navigate to the URL, and we'll have a method called get URL. We'll get that particular URL, and we will be having, means when the test case is passed, when we will say this test case is passed or failed, we will have, okay, when you will confirm a test case is passed or failed.
When expected
When
result
expected
is
value
equal
is
to actual result.
Excellent. So we have expected value and then we have the actual value. When expected value equal to the actual value, then the test case is passed. When the expected value is not equal to the actual value, then the test case is failed. Now, my expected value is, I will be giving it as amazon.com. Now I need to get the actual value, right? What I'll try to do, first I'll open the browser, navigate to the browser and get the URL of this one, and I'll keep this URL here and try to compare with these two. If URL is not matched, then my test case is failed. So what here it was failed?
Assertion error.
This is assertion error. So I'm just trying to assert the value. Asserting is nothing but it's a comparing the values. I'm just, when I tried to do this particular asserting, it didn't work at all. Means it was failed. Then there is no point of me to go further, right? This is not an exception. This is an issue, or this is a bug. Do you remember when, if I'm training the people on the bug life cycle on this one, I used to ask one particular question. What is the difference between a bug versus defect versus error? What do you mean by error? What do you mean? Okay. What do you mean by a bug? Guys, if you
The
don't tell
deviation
me,
between the deviation between actual result and the expected result.
Perfect. So bug is nothing but it's an unexpected, it's a deviation from your requirement. So this is what it has to go. It is a deviation. Then what is a defect?
That is, if it is identified by the tester, then it will be the defect. If it is accepted by the developer, then it will be the bug.
What is error?
Okay, errors are something that you do not expect things. Maybe some 404 page not found, or
Those
some
are all
kind
things
of
also deviation. Then I can call that as a bug, right? That is also deviation only, right?
But the terminology of thing is different. Situation of using the name.
Guys, these are very, very important things you should know about this, because as a tester,
error
we always live with this. See, there are other things also, failure and fault. So you need to go through this complete article. You can get very good information. What is a bug and error and all these things. Error will be called if there is any mistake or issue in a code, then that is called error in a code. So when you are doing your coding and there is an error, then there is an issue or a deviation, then there we will call it as error. Okay, so because means if there is any issue in the code, then only you will get the bug. So if you see here, that is what it was saying that. So bug is a resultant of a coding error, or whatever the definition which you said is right. See, a deviation from the expectation is called a bug. Okay, so anyways, that you guys can go through this one. So this is not the point of discussion.
45 minutes is completed.
Okay, guys, you wanted to have the lunch break and then connect back, or you want me to stop it for today?
No, we'll connect, but we'll have lunch at 4 to 5, 4 or 5 like that.
Lunchtime at 4 to 5.
Who is that boss?
No. So that would be I can every day I'll take it at the same time. I don't have the problem, but I don't want it to trouble all other people. Go for your lunch break, guys, and if you wanted to join back, we can connect at 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. 1 hour session will take there.
Okay, Krish. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah. So now it's 1:30. You have another 1.5 hour break, and then you can relaxedly have your lunch. Come back at 3 o'clock or 2:30. So because I'll take only one. Sorry.
Krish.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, Krish, we will take some 10 minutes break and we will continue and finish. Then we will go for lunch.
Yeah, better. That is better, Krish.
That is better also.
Yeah. We'll take this 10 minutes. After that, we'll continue and then.
I don't have any concerns.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just at 11:30 we had our breakfast.
Okay.
Even I don't have any. Even I don't.
No need of break. You can continue also.
We will take the break.
Okay, guys. We'll do one thing. So So take a break for 5 minutes. 11:35 we'll connect back, and 2 o'clock we'll stop. We'll go for lunch at 2 o'clock, and then we will see. At least I wanted to complete the exceptions today, and then in the post lunch I wanted to talk about this one. Let's see what things we can cover by 2 today. So we'll catch back at 1:35, and then and close the session by 2 o'clock for the lunch. Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a break and come back.
Sir, are you there? Samadhita here.
Yeah, Samadhita, tell me. I'm there.
I